Baruch here with genConnect.com, and I'm joined today by Tod Machover, composer, inventor, and professor at the MIT Media Lab. How are you, Tod?
Very well. Good to be here.
Thanks for being here. So I am fascinated by this new model that you've developed of really collaborating between professional musicians, professional composers, and the general public. Tell me a little bit about this process.
So, for a long time, I've been interested in building technology to allow fantastic musicians like Yo-Yo Ma or Prince to use their skill and extend what they can do. So, for instance, we built for Yo-Yo a cello that measures the way he plays, measures the emotion, so that if he changes his expression, the cello turns into a whole orchestra, into a voice, or into something you've never heard before. But I also design systems like that so that people who love music, who aren't experts, can make music. So we have a software called Hyperscore that uses lines and color that children can make symphonies out of. Push a button, real notes come out, and professional musicians can play this. What I'm interested in now is how to combine these models, because if you look at what social media has done for everyone, but especially for the arts, it allows you to get a message out easily. It allows people to talk, but it doesn't so easily allow fans or the general public to talk to artists. Mm-hmm. So, if somebody, I won't name it, somebody comes out with a new song, a new album, it's pretty easy to get all kinds of backstory and information about that album, but it's not so easy if you want to go back to the artist and say, you know what, next song, you should try this. People don't really have time for that. But I think in the future, that's the important thing, is to make a model where we can make things together across the board. So I started this around symphonies, because orchestras are wonderful organizations in the center of most cities that have the ability to get people's attention. Toronto, the city, and the Symphony Orchestra asked me to write a new symphony. They wanted a normal piece. And I said, I'll write the symphony if I can invite the whole city to write it with me.
Wow.
And unfortunately they said yes, because it turned out to be kind of hard to do. But we worked on this from spring 2012, announced it then, we premiered the piece a couple of months ago, so in spring 2013, and I basically invited everybody to participate. We had thousands and thousands of people from kids to seniors to general audiences, a lot of professional musicians, a lot of studying musicians, indie rock musicians, kids studying hip hop, just people who love music. And what I did, was to say, I divided it into what I called yours, mine, and ours. So I said, I'm going to ask you for things. So go and record your favorite sound in Toronto, the most typical sound, the sound in your house, the sound you hate the most. Tell me a story of why you're in Toronto. Use our software to make melodies, make rhythms, harmonies. That was yours. Mine was, I would send things out. I'd hear my recordings, hear my melodies. Tell me what you think. Or we develop a lot of apps at the MIT Media Lab where you can take a piece of music and look at a picture of it, and then mash it, change it pretty in a sophisticated way to make your version. It's like I sent out the finale of the piece when I only had about 20 seconds done, and I said, make your version of it. I'd love to hear how you think this should play out. Should it be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute? Should it twist and turn? What should it do? And then hours with an H in parenthesis, where we took hour-long sessions many times over that period. Sometimes via Skype and sometimes live in Toronto, where I take some material from the piece, some sounds, some chords, whatever. We get a group of people together and we shape it. So one thing I did is I would take recordings from places in Toronto. Like I'd take hundreds of recordings from the beaches, because it's along Lake Ontario. And I'd make kind of a minute of a beach experience, just with real recordings. Then I'd take young musicians from the youth orchestra of age 14 to 18. We'd go on stage in front of the public, and I'd say, okay, let's listen to this. First tell me if you can figure out, where is this? It's a beach. Which beach? Okay, Cherry Beach. So now listen again, and then we're going to throw away the recording, and just with your acoustic instruments, let's try to make this beach. And so, with the waves and seagulls and people chattering in the background, and we would do that. So little by little, one thing we did is take all of these real recordings of the city and translate them back into music. And then with the public, not only did we play with the sounds, but we played with what's the story of this piece and how to shape it.
Now, so many people are intimidated by classical music, by symphonies. What is really the way to get the general public over that barrier and really get them engaged?
I think the absolute thing is to the thing about this project is that it shows that it's not. It is magic because music touches us deeply, but it's not something that only 5 people in the world can do. It's not something that was done only by people who lived 200 years ago. It's not inaccessible. It's something that's deeply part of our lives. It's something that if you like to listen to music, it's so much better to touch it and shape it and try to make it yourself. And to make music, classical music is a bad word because I think classical by definition means something that already people have accepted, and it's kind of distant, and it's famous. And I think fame and this idea that some things are so super special that you can't touch them is that's what drains the beauty out of life.
Right.
I mean, the great thing about life is that we're all capable of enjoying life and of appreciating it and of seeing the beauty in it and of showing who we are personally. And something that's nice about music is it brings people together. And if you take something like the city you live in, we all care about it, and use music first of all as a way to listen to your city, and then as a way to work with other people to explore your city, and then to make something together where it is actually a portrait of your city. And it's a portrait. My goal in this project, it's the first one I've done, but my goal was to make something that I'm a composer. That's what I do. That I would feel proud of as well. I made this, but every single other person who contributed would feel the same way. And I really believe that if you do that, then music is just the most natural thing. It's special in the good way, not in the bad way.
Well, Tod Machover, congratulations on the project. And to learn more about Tod Machover and his incredible work at the MIT Media Lab, be sure to check out genConnect.com.